most people I talked to said they'd rather be red than dead. I said, what? They said, yeah, we don't want to be communists. I mean, it was a collective psychosis, psychosis in America. So I got together 23,000 doctors and we started describing the medical effects of nuclear war. Now, Richland's targeted. Poor Richland is a town that grew out of making the nuclear weapons in Hanford to blow up the planet. Now they're very pleased because they've got a lot of employment because they're employed to clean it up, which they will never do. It is physically, scientifically impossible to clean up Hanford. It's a nuclear wasteland. It will never be cleaned up. The Hanford River will continue to be radioactive virtually for the rest of time. There are, what, 12 tons of plutonium still there? The poor people of Richland, but you're targeted. So let me drop a bomb here. More than one bomb you've got, for sure. And the Russian bombs are big, inaccurate bombs. And that's what you're targeted with. So, just imagine, you're not listening to the radio. You know, sometimes you hear, woo! We are just testing the emergency broadcasting system. This time you'd hear, woo! You are under nuclear attack. You've got 10 minutes to reach the nearest fallout shelter. And I'm speaking reality. Do you know where one is? And when it comes in at 20 times the speed of sound, and you won't hear it. And it will explode here on this park with the heat inside the centre of the sun, and dig a hole 1/2 mile wide and 300 feet deep, converting you and all the earth below in the buildings to radioactive fallout shot up in the mushroom cloud. 5 miles from here, everybody is vaporised, turned into gas. And there's a little boy in Hiroshima reaching up to catch a red dragonfly on his hand against the blue of the sky like now. And there was a blinding flash. And he disappeared and left his shadow on the pavement, which is now in the Hiroshima Museum. 20 miles from here in all directions, everyone is lethally burnt. A burn patient is the most difficult patient we ever treat. Hundreds of units of blood and fresh frozen plasma. There are only 2,000 burn beds in the whole of America. None of those people or patients will survive. Winds of 500 miles an hour sucked into the centre and pick people up and turn them into missiles travelling at 100 miles an hour till they hit the nearest solid object and die. Then the whole area will be engulfed in a firestorm of 3,000 square miles. Everything will burn, even in the middle of winter. And as everything is targeted right across your land and across Canada, these fires will coalesce and America will burn coast to coast, north to south. And you will disappear. And so will Russia. And so will Europe. And Europe is covered with nuclear reactors as a U. 1 megaton bomb hitting a 1,000 megawatt reactor, according to the Scientific American, would contaminate permanently an area the size of West Germany. No one could live there again. I've just described Armageddon, which this place initiated and created. And the Russians stupidly and blindly copied and followed because they want to be superpowers as well. I've come here thinking a lot, not knowing what the answers are. And 1 in 25 people are sociopaths. They have no moral conscience. They're brilliant with no moral... And that's Cheney and Rumsfeld, the people that run that joint out there. And we, who are fairly not neurotic and fairly stable, we don't have the energy, the neurotic drive to take over the planet and destroy it. So therefore we've got to rise up. And I would say particularly the women, because we're highly intelligent. The corpus callosum, which connects the right and left brain, is larger in women than men, so we're much more in touch with our intuition and the like. And I'm not putting down men here, don't take it personally. I'm talking generically, okay? Don't get upset, because men tend to. But it's the women, we're so wimpy, we're so pathetic, you know? And often a man will come up and say something, I'll say, that's great, run for Congress, and he'll stick his chest out and say, yeah. And a woman will come up with a very good idea, and I say, run for Congress. She literally takes 2 steps back and says, who, me? You see, why are we so pathetic? We're 53% of the Earth's population. We're full of estrogen, progesterone and oxytocin, which is a major nurturing hormone. And unless we step up to the plate, we're doomed. We're doomed from global warming, we're doomed from nuclear war, and we're doomed from nuclear power. There are solutions to all three. There's a book over there I saw on the table called Carbon Free, Nuclear Free, which I commissioned, which is the prescription for survival for America for energy. You can have all the energy you need right now from all renewable energies. Why aren't there solar panels on every single roof that I see here? Why not? Because your Congress is full of corporate prostitutes. That's what they are. And what people don't understand in this country is that you are their leaders and they are your representatives. And if you leave a vacuum in Congress, into that vacuum move the corporations. The president is not your leader. You are his leaders. And what Occupy has to do is take over this flaming country. You have to occupy Congress because it's yours. It's your money, you built it, and they're your representatives. You have to occupy the Pentagon, which spends $1 trillion a year of your money on death. Death, when you have no free medical care system. The richest country on earth with no free medical care system? That's unbelievable. That's called civilization. Having it free, I go to the doctor, I get treated, I go next door, the government gives me the money in cash in my hand. That's called civilization. You know who would have approved of that? Jesus. Here's a socialist. Leave your worldly goods and follow me. Not that I'm a Christian, I'm a pantheist. I worship nature. Yeah. So, the Occupy movement is the most exciting thing I've seen for the last 20 years. I went to Zuccotti Park. There were women in fur coats, men in pinstripe suits, homeless people, dogs, kids, you know, the whole thing. You have such a responsibility on your shoulders, I can't tell you. And you now have the attention of the media. And you've got to be clever. Demonstrations won't do it, petitions won't do it. But Occupy will. Just take it over. Take your sleeping bags and do it. Takes guts, you know. And as Martin Luther King said, if you don't have something worth dying for, you're not living. That's true. I've had 8 death threats. I was prepared to die to save possibly the only life in the universe. I don't want to die, but I'm 73, so I'm almost finished now anyway. But I care about the children, as I'm a paediatrician. I took the Hippocratic Oath, and all the world's children are my patients. So I practice global preventive medicine. And now I'm handing the torch to you because the planet is in the intensive care unit, critically ill, and you are all now physicians to a planet that's dying. We can close down all the reactors in your country with the carbon-free, nuclear-free thing and renewable energy. We can build, you know, employ millions of people with windmills and solar panels and electric cars, the whole thing. It's all here. So that's 2 things, global warming, and no one will copy. No, we won't save the planet unless you do it, because you're the model for the rest of the world. We don't like you very much, but you export all your propaganda and everyone copies and emulates you, right? So if you do it, you can save the planet from global warming, from nuclear power, and we can abolish all nuclear weapons because the Russians don't want theirs. It's up to you, and you've got a president now who would do that with Russia. But he said when he gave his speech at Prague, I can't do it without you. And I don't see people stepping up to the plate. And what this country needs now is a revolution. And you are starting the revolution. This is your responsibility. So good luck to you. I doff my cap to your courage, your intelligence, your perspicacity, your perseverance, and I'll help you. But this is the only thing that really matters now. This is the only thing that matters. You're not here for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You can't pursue happiness. Happiness comes by serving others, by spending a day in the clinic with my patients, Happiness comes by teaching children. Happiness comes by working with wonderful people and saving the planet. That's the key to true happiness. We're here to serve. We're here to serve, not make ourselves happy. Thank you. I spent my life and you know how I got into it? By reading John Goffman.
Yeah, I was offered a job with John Goffman.
Right. Well, he got fired from the AEC for doing, you know, with Hanford.
And they put forth the hot particle hypothesis, which we published 20 papers to show that it was not true.
Well, that's rhubarb. Because I'm a physician.
And have you ever seen a plutonium-induced cancer?
You bloody bet I have.
Where?
All over the place. Go to the transuranic registry and look it up.
Oh, I happen to work for it.
He works for the Transuranium Registry. I meet with him every Monday. I meet with him every Monday.
I know. They stopped publishing their data about 20 years ago. Why?
Actually, our data's on the web.
Really fascinating.
We invite you to come to our website. It's all on the web.
What's it called?
It's part of Washington State University.
Yeah, but what's the website?
United States Transuranium and Uranium Registries.
I'll look it up.
USTUR.
I also saw Karen Silkwood's liver.
All of our data's published.
I was an expert witness for Karen Silkwood. Her liver is full of... Here, I've got to do other things.
I know you do.
Okay.
What's website?
Now, what do you want me to do?
Just two quick questions. One's going to be on site beforehand. One is why pick Hanford of all nuclear sites to come to. And the other question...
Just tell me. No, don't. I'll do it cold. Don't tell me what you're going to ask me. Just do it.
Sure.
Yeah, what?
Okay. Just want to know, why did you pick Hanford of all nuclear sites to come to?
Because I was invited by the Occupy movement. Right.
And then the second question we want to ask you is...
What do you think the occupiers should do? What do you think we should do?
I really don't know what they need to do about Hanford, but they need to occupy the NRC, they need to occupy the Department of Energy, they need to get rid of Bechtel, they need Bechtel to stop lying, they need Bechtel to stop firing whistleblowers, they need to really honestly work out what the hell they're going to do, because what they're doing now will lead to nothing except hydrogen explosions and probably plutonium explosions with critical mass as they proceed. I mean, it's an absolute disaster if you read what they're doing. Maybe they just should stop. I don't know. They'll never stop that stuff reaching the Columbia River. Never. In fact, it's entering it down here now. The fish in the Columbia are radioactive. There was a man who worked at Hanford who went to Portland for a holiday. He ate oysters caught at the mouth of the river. He went back to his work, he walked through the radiation monitors, and they went mad because oysters suck up radioactive elements, strontium, cesium, plutonium, like little sponges. And they were so radioactive that the men who ate them became radioactive themselves. That's what's happening to this river. It was the most radioactive river in the world. This is obscene. I would be cautious about living here myself. I think it's dangerous to live in the Tri-Cities. And honestly, to be quite frank, as a scientist and a physician, there's no answer to Hanford. It's a nuclear wasteland, and see, that's the problem with all things nuclear, because it lasts for the rest of time, and it impacts generations for the rest of time with cancer, leukemia, and genetic disease, damaging our genes for the rest of time, cystic fibrosis, diabetes, you name it, 2,600 such diseases. That's what this place is about. This is a medical catastrophe beyond repair. Much worse than smallpox ever was, much worse than, you get one case of rabies here and the town would go mad. That you live next to a death facility. I can't understand the dynamics of the psychology of people. I can't understand it, except to say I know the majority are ignorant, they don't know how cancer is caused, they don't know how radiation causes cancer, they don't know how long cancer takes to arrive, and so they don't understand the medical literature. So it's up to us to teach them.